6 days. That's all it took to redraw the map of the Middle East forever. Imagine a conflict so swift, so decisive, that it concluded before most of the world even realized it had fully begun. A war that experts predicted would last for months, maybe even years, was over in less than a week. This is the story of the Six-Day War, a conflict that not only defined a generation, but continues to shape our world in ways we are still grappling with today. How did one small nation, facing overwhelming odds, achieve one of the most stunning military victories in modern history? To understand this, we have to go back to the spring of 1967. The atmosphere in the Middle East was electric with tension. Israel, a young nation not yet 2 decades old, found itself in a precarious position, surrounded by hostile neighbors. To the south, Egypt's charismatic leader Gamal Abdel Nasser was amassing a formidable army in the Sinai Peninsula. He had blockaded the Straits of Tiran, cutting off Israel's vital shipping route to the Red Sea. An act Israel had publicly declared would be a cause for war. To the east, Jordan's King Hussein, despite initial reluctance, signed a mutual defense pact with Egypt, placing his army under Egyptian command. Behind to the north, Syria was relentlessly shelling Israeli settlements from its fortified positions on the Golan Heights. The rhetoric was incendiary. Arab leaders spoke openly of the imminent destruction of the Israeli state. The combined military strength of Egypt, Syria, and Jordan dwarfed Israel's. They had more tanks, more artillery, and hundreds of thousands more soldiers. International observers and military analysts were grim. The consensus was clear. If war broke out, Israel would be fighting for its very survival, and the odds were not in its favor. The world watched, holding its breath, as the region spiraled towards an inevitable confrontation. Inside Israel, the mood was a mixture of fear and resolve. The country mobilized its reserves, pulling citizens from their everyday lives, farmers, teachers, shopkeepers, and turning them into soldiers overnight. The sense of impending doom was palpable. But beneath the anxiety, Israel's leadership was planning a move so audacious, so risky, it would either save the nation or condemn it to utter annihilation. They decided they could not afford to wait for the first blow. They had to strike first. On the morning of June 5, 1967, at 7:45 a.m., the plan, codenamed Operation Focus, was launched. In a breathtaking display of precision and coordination, nearly every combat aircraft in the Israeli Air Force took to the skies. Flying low to avoid enemy radar, they swooped down on Egyptian airfields. The timing was impeccable. Many Egyptian pilots were just finishing their breakfast, completely unaware of the approaching danger. In less than 3 hours, the backbone of the Egyptian Air Force was shattered. Hundreds of planes were destroyed while they were still on the ground. The same devastating strikes were repeated against the air forces of Jordan, Syria, and even Iraq. By midday on the first day of the war, Israel had achieved complete and total air supremacy. The enemy was now blind and vulnerable. With the skies clear of threats, Israel's ground forces could advance with astonishing speed. In the south, armored divisions under Generals Israel Tau Abraham, Yoff, and Ariel Sharon surged into the Sinai Peninsula. They outmaneuvered and overwhelmed the Egyptian army, which was now without air cover and plagued by confused command. What was expected to be a brutal, grinding desert war turned into a rapid advance. Israeli tanks raced across the sand, capturing key positions and encircling entire Egyptian divisions. Simultaneously, a second front unexpectedly opened to the east. Despite Israeli pleas for Jordan to stay out of the conflict, Jordanian forces began shelling West Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. Israel's response was immediate and decisive. Paratroopers were sent into the old city of Jerusalem, leading to some of the most intense and emotional fighting of the war. In a moment that would resonate through history, Israeli soldiers reached the Western Wall, a site of immense religious significance. For the first time in nearly 2 millennia, the holiest site in Judaism was under Jewish control. The entire West Bank, a territory controlled by Jordan since 1948, fell to Israeli forces in a matter of days. To the north, the situation on the Golan Heights was equally dramatic. For years, Syrian artillery had terrorized Israeli communities below. Now, with the other fronts stabilizing, Israeli forces launched a daring and difficult uphill assault on the heavily fortified Syrian positions. The fighting was fierce, but by the 6th day, Israeli soldiers stood on the plateau, looking down on the road to Damascus. In just 132 hours, the war was over. Israel had not only survived, it had achieved a victory of biblical proportions. It had tripled the territory under its control, capturing the Gaza Strip and the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt, the West Bank and East Jerusalem from Jordan, and the Golan Heights from Syria. The world was stunned. The armies that had sworn to destroy Israel were in ruins. The 6 days of combat ended, but the consequences of that week in June 1967 have echoed through the decades, creating a new and even more complex reality. The war was a military triumph for Israel, but it also ushered in a new set of intractable political problems. The territories captured in 1967, known to many as the occupied territories, became the central issue of the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The victory that was meant to secure Israel's existence instead entrenched it in a demographic and diplomatic quagmire that continues to this day. The euphoria of 1967 eventually gave way to the harsh realities of governing a large, hostile Palestinian population. It led to the rise of the settlement movement, international condemnation, and cycles of violence that have defined the region for over half a century. The war also had a profound impact on the Arab world, leading to a period of deep introspection and eventually, for some, a shift from military confrontation to diplomacy, culminating in the historic Camp David Accords with Egypt. The Six-Day War serves as a powerful lesson in how a short, decisive conflict can create long, seemingly endless consequences. It redrew the map, but it also redrew the psychological and political landscape of the Middle East in ways that are still being debated, fought over, and negotiated today. The fighting stopped in 6 days, but the war, in many ways, has never truly ended. Thanks for watching. If you found this story compelling, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into the events that shaped our world.